All right, my people, what is going on? It's your boy Mario of Woke Up a Rebel, and we're here once again for another installment of Woke Up a Rebel Reacts. This is episode number 6, and we're going to be reviewing, reacting to the Griselda series that dropped on Netflix on January 26th. So I want to start off by saying thank you to every single one of you who are tuning in right now. Please subscribe, please like the video, please leave a comment at the end of the video. Tell me what you thought of the show. Tell me what you thought of my reaction to the show. Do you agree with some of the things that I said in this reaction video? Who knows? You might not. Always keep it respectful in the comment section, please, so that way, you know what I mean? Like we show people that there's a different level of conversation that we're having here. So in case you're new here to the channel, I am Mario, and I am one half of the DJ duo Woke Up a Rebel, alongside my friend Aisha, aka Jungle Royalty. Please head over to Instagram, which is where we are the most active. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can email us, or you can just simply send us a DM on Instagram at Woke Up a Rebel. And yeah, keep things simple, keep whatever. If you want to book us to DJ your event, if you're in the GTA in Toronto or in its surrounding areas, by all means, hit us up. Okay. All right. So let's get right to it. So we're talking about Griselda, the Griselda series. So Griselda Blanco was portrayed by the legendary actress, Sofia Vergara. To be honest, I haven't really been a fan of Sofia Vergara's acting over the years. I'm just not a fan of her, to be honest. Like the first time that I saw her was in the Chasing Papi movie. Do you remember that movie? It had her, I don't remember how to say her name, Jassy Velasquez. There was a lot of controversy behind that too, because she was allegedly a Christian artist working in a movie where she was portraying a not so Christian personality, but that's besides the point right now. So that was the first time that I saw her, and the biggest crush that I had at that time was Rosaline Sanchez. She was also in Chasing Papi. So shout out to all three of them. They were amazing in that film regardless. But that was the first time that I saw Sofia Vergara. So fast forward, she was in Modern Family, and to be honest, I absolutely loved the Modern Family series. It was really dope, and I feel like as annoying as I feel she is as an actress, she fit the role perfectly. Like she knew what the assignment was, and she did it very well. So shout out to her. She even got a shout out from Bad Bunny recently in a song, and it like became a thing, right? So obviously everything just seemed like it happened either at the right place and right time, or if it was strategic in collaboration with Bad Bunny's team to mention her. I don't know. But anyways, let's get to the point of the freaking reaction video, man. Okay, so we're here to talk about the Griselda series. What did I think about the Griselda series? I mean, I'm kind of over the cocaine, drug lord, narcos shows. Like, I'm over it now. Can we please start portraying Latinos in a better light? There's more to us than this. Unfortunately, this is what's the most popular thing about Latinos is the drug trade, but there are other stories that we need to start telling now. Let's just say that these stories needed to be told, but there are other ones now. What do you think? Let me know. Okay, so Griselda was released on January 26th on Netflix, and it was an interesting show. You know, 6 episodes. They're about an hour long, a little less than an hour, and I feel like some people feel like it was rushed. I personally feel like maybe what we needed to see was shown. I don't know if any of you have ever watched the documentary Cocaine Cowboys, but that's where I first heard about Griselda Blanco. You know, it was interesting to me. It was crazy that like, yo, there was a woman, you know what I mean, that was like in charge of all of this, right? But yeah, that was the first time that I heard who Griselda Blanco was in the Cocaine Cowboys, and I think I watched it back in maybe, I would say 2014, 15. I don't know. But here's a little clip that I found. It just happened to, when I was doing some research, it directed me to this Facebook video about a show called Queen Pins, and the person narrating it is Kiki Palmer. So shout out to her. So let's just watch this little bit that I want to show you from this video, and I'll explain why after. I wanted to show this to you.
She was forced to flee to Irvine, California. She laid low in Irvine with her mother and youngest son, but was captured in 1985.
They had been observing her for quite a while. She was living under a false name. When they show up, she was allegedly in bed reading the Bible. She did not resist, and she was arrested on the basis of that New York indictment from 1975.
Griselda Blanco.
Okay, so that was intense, right? So if you've watched the series, and get ready for this, there's a lot of spoilers in this reaction video. Sorry, I should have started with that, but there's going to be some spoilers. So if you haven't watched the series and you care about, somebody spoiling the show for you, then don't watch this. Go watch it first and then come back to this, but make sure you come back to it. Okay? Maybe I shouldn't do a gun finger talking about Griselda Blanco. Anyways, go watch it and come back. But for those of you who already watched the series, the way that the series ended with, Sofia Vergara as Griselda, she was in a balcony smoking a cigarette when the police came and busted her. But what did they say in this? They were saying that she was reading the Bible. Now, why would they change that? What was so bad about her reading the Bible that Netflix felt like, hey, this wouldn't be good for the series? Or maybe, I don't know. Could it be that there's people that don't support Christianity, that didn't want even the portrayal of a Bible in this story? Who knows? Or it could also be that maybe the people at Netflix, or the writers, whoever, were trying to be responsible and not trying to make her look like a hero, right? In the show, it looked like when the Cubans that came to work for her, they looked at her as a hero, as a heroine, right? Because of the fact that she portrayed herself as almost like Christ-like, as a savior. So it was interesting, right? That they changed that about the story, and most people wouldn't know that unless you actually did a little bit of research about Griselda Blanco, which I have, and I'm not fascinated by the drug world. I'm just fascinated by the fact that there's a whole industry about the fascination of the drug world. So it's kind of interesting, right? So shout out to you, Kiki. Shout out to you, Kiki Palmer. And that was a good clip. So here's another clip that I'm going to show to you that was from the YouTube channel Grunge. And they were interviewing Michael Corleone, which was Griselda's youngest son, who I believe is the only surviving son. Right? So check this out and we'll chat about it when we come back.
To do her thing. Blanco's ingenuity meant she was often an unlikely innovator in a field dominated by men. According to Don Diva magazine, Blanco was raking in $8 million monthly at the height of her power, partially thanks to her inventiveness. Reportedly, she developed her own line of lingerie with hidden compartments that made it easier for women to transport drugs. La Madrina, as she was called, even owned her own lingerie shop. Once Blanco moved to the United States, she quickly established her own network for dealing cocaine. She sold to celebrities, famous athletes, and other people of prominence. She also had the good fortune, or foresight, to move to Miami at the precise moment when the city's cocaine boom was beginning. Known as the godmother of cocaine, Blanco was a fixture of the so-called cocaine cowboys era that saw the drug proliferate in Miami, with its proceeds funding the city's real estate boom in the 1970s and 80s. According to The Guardian, she was widowed 3 times and believed to be responsible for anywhere from 40 to 200 deaths.
The fact that the homicide rate dropped dramatically after she was arrested.
Blanco's unwavering ruthlessness was well known. She was a suspect in the killing of one of her former associates' 2-year-old son. While his father was the target, Blanco was allegedly happy with the child's death.
It somehow offended her son, Osvaldo, and she determined that Jesus Castro, the father, was going to be killed.
For as much misery as Blanco heaped onto other families, hers also suffered from her prominence. According to The Mirror, 3 of her 4 sons were murdered. Her only living son, Michael, survived 7 assassination attempts. In 2004, following an imprisonment in the States, Blanco was released and deported back to Colombia. According to Blanco's pregnant daughter-in-law, at the time she was killed, she was trying to leave her past life behind and succeed in the field of real estate. But Bruce Bagley, author and head of the University of Miami's Department of International Studies, believes that this perception of the heartless killer is dangerous. He told The Guardian, "The danger is she will be remembered not for her cold-heartedness and brutality, but for being a woman entrepreneur in an emerging field dominated by men."
Did you hear what I heard? And he was very right about that, is that there was this fear that the danger is she will be remembered not for her cold-heartedness and brutality, but for being a woman entrepreneur in an emerging field dominated by men. So basically it's like a ruthless gangster version of Barbie, death to the patriarchy and all of that stuff. I haven't watched Barbie myself yet, but I've been hearing that this is like the main thing, right? But this is at another level. So I totally understand why maybe a lot of things about the series were changed so that she doesn't look like she was a positive role model per se, right? Interesting enough, one of her sons, I think Uber, died during a drug deal in Colombia. So it's very unfortunate. And I can't believe 7 assassination attempts against Michael Corleone. Like, that's intense. What a life. Having to always look over your shoulder. Right? And man, I don't know. So in relation to the series, what did I actually think about the series? I think it was really good that they kept it to 6 episodes. A lot of people are complaining, thinking that, oh, maybe it should have been longer, but I I don't concur, just because the story isn't that long. It's not that big of a story, bro. Like, she came, she saw, she conquered, she died. And that may seem very insensitive, but she's responsible for hundreds of murders, right? And the person being interviewed in one of the clips that I showed said that the homicide rate dropped significantly when she was imprisoned. So that says a lot about what type of person she was. And I think Netflix did a good job with this show in not portraying her as this is something that you would want to become. It's like the female Scarface almost. And I don't know. I don't think we all know how Scarface ended. It's basically how her situation, how her story ended, right? Go figure. So don't get into that world, people. I know that circumstances sometimes may have us do things that we normally wouldn't, right? And with Griselda, it's very understandable. Like in the Kiki Palmer clip that I showed at the very beginning of it, they mentioned that Griselda was born to a alcoholic mother who was very abusive towards her, right? And Griselda, to survive, pickpocket from the age of 11, right? She was already becoming a criminal. And then she got into prostitution when she ran away from home at 14, right? Because of her abusive mom. And in that world, she learned how to forge documents, and she was forging documents for drug cartel people, and that's how she met her first husband, Alberto, who is the father of her 3 children. It's an interesting thing that happened to her. It's almost as if that was her destiny, to become that, unfortunately, which is strange, right? Like, why would somebody be destined to do something so evil, but at the same time, it's major success depending who you're talking to, right? The show itself, I would give it a 7 out of 10, right? Simply because I found it strange to hear Sofia Vergara cussing. I found it strange that, she was the way that she was in the show. I'm not used to it, right? So it was very different. It was shocking, but she did great. I think she was very convincing drug, boss, right? That she was constantly being shunned by men, being mistreated by men, to the point where she snapped and she had to do something about it to prove that, she is who she is and she is to be respected. And she was able to do it in the style that, you could really enforce something like that without having to have major accomplishments in the office per se. Let's say, moving up in the ranks in the corporate office. She was able to force her way up there and be feared, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's a quote out there from Pablo Escobar that he said that he was only ever afraid of one man, and that man was a woman that goes by the name of Griselda Blanco, right? So crazy. The series, I would recommend everybody watch it if you're into that type of content. Would I watch it again or revisit the series again? Probably not. The music in the show was amazing. A lot of amazing disco tracks. Like, oh man, like I was shazamming like crazy. Shout out to whoever put that together, the score to the show. It was so good. Like, wow, it was so good. A lot of people are upset about Karol G's cameo in the series and how it was cut short. I don't know. When you watch the show, you'll know what I mean, pun intended. But yeah, she was in there. She did what did people expect? When you see celebrities, when you see rappers, when you see Bad Bunny in a movie, he's not in it for too long either. Like, he's been killed off movies really fast, right? I forgot the Bullet Train movie, I think it was called. I don't remember. But overall, I didn't expect much from a Karol G appearance. I think it did good for the show that she was in it. The question is being asked, right, on social media as well, is, can we stop portraying Latinos as just drug dealers and traffickers and stuff like that? Right? And I agree, but once again, we come back to this. Some of these stories need to be told so that history doesn't repeat itself. Right? The drug trade will always exist as long as there is a demand. Who is in control of it and how is it done? Is it done ethically at some point? Does it become legal or decriminalized? Who knows? Right? But this is what happens when policies and laws are made that are really only to benefit certain people and not the greater good, or not to serve or better the public, because a lot of innocent people were killed. A child was killed, right? Which is which was Chucho's son in the series, right? And Chucho was, you know, Griselda's bodyguard, allegedly, in the series, right? So there's no loyalty in that world. There's no loyalty in that game. And you can see it time and time again. So many different stories. Do your best, people. Find a passion. Find something to do where you can make legal money so you don't ever have to be involved in that world. You know what I mean? So the Griselda show overall, it was good. Worth the watch. Yes. Would I watch it again? No. I mean, I don't have a reason to go back to it and revisit it. One last thing, you know, it's like to all women out there, I can't even imagine what it's like to be navigating in a world where, you know, men dominate a lot of industries, and this could be empowering, you know, to some ladies that watch this series. It's kind of like a fantasy. It's like, man, I wish I can just grab a guy and just shoot him in the head like that. You know, it's disrespecting me. Hey, a lot of people maybe did live vicariously through Griselda Blanco, which is why they'll be inspired by this show. And, you know, maybe do positive things, you know, channel that energy or that anger. It just seemed like she was really pissed off towards men in the series, and rightfully so. Like, the guys were treating her like crap, robbing her, thinking that she could never be the boss, and she became the boss, you know. Wrong, good message, just wrong messenger. I think that's one of those cases right now. But anyway, let me know what you thought of the series, what you thought of this reaction. Did you learn a little bit something more with the clips that I shared? Who knows? But thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me right now for this reaction video. Please subscribe, like the video, share it with somebody, at least 1 or 2 people that you think would actually enjoy this content and can possibly benefit from it in a positive way. All right, so thank you so much. Be respectful in the comments if you do leave one, and I shall see you in the next video. Stay tuned. Peace out. Stay blessed.